My name is Brennan Shaw, and this is my story. So I accepted Jesus into my life when I was in first grade, and so it was a little weird because I looked like a kindergartner, and I kind of looked like one of those kids that just wanted to get baptized because I wanted to go in the church's spa. But I fully understood that I wanted Jesus in my life. I wanted to die for him. I wanted him to be my king. And so, and so I was baptized at my church. It was really cool. I got a couple Bibles and devotional books, so that was really cool too. Went to elementary school, and elementary school was pretty cool. I was a pretty good kid. I got good grades, and I was getting made fun of a little bit because of my size, and so that was pretty hard. And then my dad, he applied for a principal job at my school, and he didn't get it, so we were really bummed. And so I decided, well, why don't we just go to his school? So we went to his school. I wasn't very close to God, so I didn't read my Bible very much. I still went to church, and I didn't pray very often either. And then we started learning about the evolution stuff, and so that really struck my heart, and it was really hard for me to take that in. I challenged my teachers, my friends, and yeah, that was really hard because I didn't read my Bible, and so I didn't really know very much about all that stuff, and so it was really hard to lose those fights. And then my dad, he started looking into principal jobs up in Rancho Cucamonga, and he got one, and so we moved up here. We were closer to family. I filmed a pilot TV show, and so I've tried glorifying God through just trying my best and being nice to everyone, not being that TV brat, So yeah, maybe I'll get a chance sometime to really glorify God more with my acting career. Life is going pretty fast right now. I started doing homeschool, and so it's going pretty fast. I've met a couple friends. They're normal high schoolers, but they're pretty nice to me, so I have a feeling that God's really gonna reveal himself in some big ways through the next couple years in my life, and so I'm really excited for that to happen. Life hasn't been so easy for me, but I'm waiting for what God's trying to reveal to me, and I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen there. God doesn't make life so easy. He tests me because I can get stronger, and so I've learned that through my life.
Where's Brennan? Where's that guy? Man. I've known Brennan a lot of his life, and I can tell you that the stuff you just got a glimpse of on the screen when you hear about his desire for God to do more and his anxiousness to go, I can't wait to see what God's going to do. I've seen that in him for years and years, just going, I wonder what God's going to do next. I don't know. I'm just open to what God's going to do. And that is such an encouragement to my heart and a reminder to me when it comes to, it's so easy just to kind of get into a routine of not looking around at all and seeing what God is going to do and maybe what is the reason for this really hard time in my life. And that is one of the things that I see in Brennan and that I love about him so much and appreciate about him. And it reminds me to be considering what is it that God may have for me that I don't see yet. And as we are going through these life stories, we could sit there and we could listen to these stories and we can be polite and we can nod our heads and kind of just go through it and hear it as a story. But what I want to encourage you tonight as we head off into our detour groups is when you listen to these stories, would you have that heart that says, God, what do you have for me? What's the reason I'm hearing about this guy's story, or what is it that you want me to pull out of what she went through that you want to use in me, or that you want to heal in me, or that you want to reveal to me? That we don't just sit there and kind of go, okay, that was nice. Well, that was somebody's life. But God wants to use our stories, you guys. That's why we're doing this. God wants to use your story, and every person in this room, you've got a story. And every person in this room, you need to know that God has a purpose and a plan for your life, that he designed you for something. Maybe you haven't discovered that yet. Maybe you're even in a place where you're just going, God didn't design me for anything. He did. He designed you for huge and powerful things. And sometimes that doesn't look the way we think it's going to look. It doesn't look huge and powerful by what the world would call huge and powerful, but your life and your story makes a difference. And as we share our stories, as we've been sharing them, and as we share them over the next weeks, you guys, I want to encourage you to have that heart that goes, God, what do you have? What do you want to speak to me? What do you want to do in me? Because I am so confident that he'll reveal those things. That's why we're doing it. And so tonight, as we go into our detour groups, I want to just remind you that one, that our stories are important, and that we want this to be a safe place for us to share our stories. And I really want to encourage all of you that when you talk to one another, when you're distracting, when it doesn't seem like you care, it makes this not a safe place. And so I want to encourage you in your groups to be respectful, to keep your focus all the way through the end, and be that encouragement to somebody, so that you don't miss out on something, but also so you don't make this an unsafe place where people are like, well, I'm not going to share again because nobody seemed to even care. So I want to ask you to please be respectful, please be kind, please be encouraging. At the end, you're going to have the opportunity to write a note to the people who speak tonight, letting them know what was something that spoke to you, what was something that encouraged you in a way that you can encourage them as well. And from what I've heard, you guys, every week I've got people coming up to me going, man, whoever shared, it really spoke to me. I just, God really used that in a big way. Every week, you guys, that's being said by different people. And so thank you for those of you who have shared so far. And for those of you who are still coming up, be praying about what God would have you say.